Welcome back to the Chuck&Schup show. It is September 26th.
Yes.
We are back and lots of crazy NFL action once again. We're getting to that time of the year where we got some other sports creeping up on the horizon. Hockey preseason has started. NBA preseason coming around the corner. Some trades still not done in the NBA, but it's still September, so leaves are coming down. Football season's happening. Chuck, are you feeling the madness of football season yet?
I'm feeling the madness, and I am feeling it about every weekend right now. I can't wait for the next weekend, but honestly, we need to dial it down with the craziness here. We need to dial it down a little. It's only week 3.
It's absurd. It's absurd. Storyline after storyline, records being broken, drama like we've never seen before. We got a lot to talk about, and we're going to do that in this episode. We're going to play a little bit of cap or no cap with some important NFL topics. We'll go over some college football picks, some NFL picks. But what are our 2 favorite letters in the alphabet, Chuck?
You know it. D and L, baby. Little Dubs and L's.
Yes, D and L. Jim Tan Laundry. Well, that's G and L. But you know what? We're from New Jersey.
Same guy.
So it's all good. Chuck, hit us for your W. Let's start this thing off.
So huge dub is actually going to go out to not only Travis Kelce, just picking up Taylor Swift. They look like they're together. She was at the game this weekend against the Bears at Kansas City. She was sitting with Donna Kelce, Travis Kelce's mom, in the booth, going crazy, throwing out F-bombs. Swifties going nuts. Best stat of the day for you, Travis Kelce's jersey sale has gone up 400%. So I don't know how many that is, but that's absolutely ridiculous. This is a dub because this is huge for the NFL. Now, across the globe, Taylor Swift is known, has so many fans. Their fan base is called the Swifties. They're buying NFL jerseys now. They're watching Travis Kelce, one of the most elite players in the NFL. This can only be good publicity from here on out for the NFL. We're going to see ticket sales go through the roof for when the Kansas City Chiefs come to town. They're playing this weekend at MetLife. Best believe you'll see a lot of Taylor Swift jerseys being worn. And I absolutely love it. This is great for football. This could be like the best power couple ever. Am I excited just because I'm a Chiefs fan? Yes. But is this really good for the NFL? Yes. If you don't agree, I don't know what you're looking at.
Chuck, I want to take you back to one of the first episodes that we ever did. That was last year when you had given out a W to Travis Kelce for being single and as a result going to have an epic year. Well, for one, he did have an epic year, but now he's got maybe the most popular girl on the planet, like the most admired woman, like right now in American music. Maybe overall, I don't know. There's no real statistic to back that up, but you would say that it all worked out for Travis, didn't it?
Oh, it 100% did. And they were seen after the game, not holding hands, but like just walking back by the locker room together and shit. Mad cute. She has over 200 million followers on Instagram. The NFL has 24 million. So I don't think people understand how big this is for the NFL's brand and what's going to happen from here on out. So I love it. I absolutely love it.
Well, don't worry, Chuck. Our channel will be there one day.
Yeah, hopefully. And then Taylor Swift will watch. Yeah.
Yes, she will watch one day. And what I was watching was that Ohio State Notre Dame game, which was an absolutely epic game that literally came down to the very last second. I was watching at Ohio State bar with a bunch of my friends, a bunch of Ohio State fans. We were on our edge of our seats till the very end of the game, and couldn't have gone better for us, getting that last second win. My W is going to go to Ryan Day for his speech at the end of the game, where no F's given, just calls out 150-year-old Lou Holtz for comments that he had made earlier in the year, saying basically that Ohio State was too soft to hang with the big boys. Like he mentions like the Oklahomas and the Alabamas and the Georgias, which we hung with all those teams. It's not like we got blown out by any of these teams. Maybe Clemson at one time, but he's saying that was the reason that Notre Dame was going to win. Now, obviously, Lou Holtz is biased, and we could have just let this one slide, but Ryan Day was like, no, I'm making this personal. Lou Holtz, you better not question my team anymore. And I admire that after what was a lot of questionable decision making throughout that game by Ryan Day. But he clearly has passed it and it was just like, listen, we got the W and screw you, you old man. W Ryan Day.
Yeah, I am absolutely distraught still about that game. I don't know how the Irish let that game go. Me and my dad watched it. Absolutely distraught after. I think Ryan Day's full of shit for going after Lou Holtz. Hopefully he saves his season by beating Michigan this year. But if he doesn't win that game, he's fired. So that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, it definitely wouldn't help his case for sure. But what about the coach on the other side of the coin, Chuck?
Well, I've had nightmares about this for the past like 3 days. Fucking 10 guys on the field when they get, well, first of all, it's fucking 3rd and 19. The play before that, dropped interception, then flag. 3rd and 19. Notre Dame lets the guy get right up the seam. Nobody runs with him. Safety takes a fucking shitty ass angle to go for the fucking tackle. They stop him at the 1. Ohio State gets down there. This is my fucking L. Why the hell are there 10 guys on the field? And not only why the hell are there 10 guys on the field, why is it that there are 3 down linemen aligned to the, I guess it's the strong side, but why are there only 3 down linemen on the field? And why are they aligned perpendicular to the fucking back? If the back is offset, the handoff is going to the opposite side. Why didn't they shift the line? Why didn't they why didn't they do, I don't know, why didn't they go off sides, maybe take a penalty? Now it's at the inch-yard line. You can get another guy on the field. I really am fucking pissed off the way that game ended. I'm like, I fucking hate Ohio State right now. I don't know why. I used to love them, but I absolutely hate them so much. And I can't believe that they only had 10 guys for the last 2 plays. So Freeman needs to get his shit together. If they fucking lose to Louisville or Duke, that guy is done. He's done. So I'm putting him on the hot seat right now. That should have been a winnable. That should have been a win right there. Should be going on undefeated, but it is what it is.
And then you have to point out his comments after the game, or his justification rather, of why he decided to leave 10 players on the field. And basically he was just like, well, we wanted to substitute, but we didn't want to like have a penalty. But you're on like
last play of the game,
the 2-yard line. You're on like with a difference between playing a man advantage versus going from a 2 to 1 yard line. Like the 2 is already close enough. And considering Ryan Day likes to call end arounds on goal to go plays, like who knows what would have happened. But
that sweep on 4th and 2.
Yeah, it's in the history books now. Both coaches got a lot to learn from this, but luckily for Ohio State, they came in with the W, so not too bad for them. But we're going to continue on this path of questionable coaching decisions. We're going to go to the AFC West, where we have a couple of coaches that I want to put under fire. And the most obvious one is Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Sean Payton spent the offseason criticizing Nathaniel Hackett for the job that he did while Payton wasn't there, and basically saying he was the reason why that team wasn't successful, and that all they needed was him to turn things around. And yet somehow Payton has found a way to top Nathaniel Hackett in terms of how embarrassing a season can start off. And this is way, way more embarrassing. The choke job in week 2, the bad loss in week 1, but this loss, losing by 50, giving up, almost having the record set on you for most points given up.
Yeah.
Like this defense didn't lose that many pieces. They weren't that bad last year. What could have possibly happened for them to regress this much? But what I really hate is the way that he kind of answered questions after the game. Like, I get it. You're frustrated. It's really hard to lose a game like that on a national stage. Everyone's looking at you bad. And you got to answer questions like, how does this make you feel? Of course, it makes them feel like shit. But there's like, it's almost like Peyton isn't taking this on the chin or being humble about it. He's just kind of like, yeah, whatever. We suck this game. It's whatever. Why do you keep asking? Like, of course they're gonna ask. You lost by 50. You give us 7 points. So be a man and answer the questions, and then yell at your team if you need to. But don't be like that in public. But like, I mean, that wasn't one decision that he made. It was just his whole coaching philosophy right now is messed up. But honestly, Josh McDaniels' decision might be worse, especially with what he said after the game. So, for context, the Raiders are down 8. They are driving with about 4 minutes to go. They have like 2 timeouts left. Stupid. So the Raiders decide to go for a 49-yard field goal to try to tie the game up. They make it, but there's a penalty on Pittsburgh. So now they get closer. And then they get all the way down to about like the 10-yard line. And it's another 4th down, maybe like 4th and 4, something. It wasn't like super close, but it was close enough that they probably should have gone for it. But they opted to kick the field goal again, putting their defense, their terrible defense,
abysmal,
the game on the line. And of course, because McDaniels also doesn't know how to call defense, they give up the 1st down. The game's over.
Yep.
And he says his justification after the game is, well, we had to get 2 scores anyway. That's literally not true. That's not. That's you could have. I mean, sure, if they missed the 2-pointer, yeah, you'd have to go for it again. But what if you made it and you put it to overtime? It just sounds like he was trying to not lose, even though he did lose. Like, he's just trying to come up with an excuse, like, oh, we just never had the ball. Like, he's the easiest candidate for first coach out in the NFL, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree, because you don't have faith in your own players to fucking get, I think it was 4th and 5. And Davante Adams was tearing it up. He had 2 touchdowns, 159 yards. Why aren't you going to give your guys a chance in a close situation? And if you don't get it, you get the chance to call 2 timeouts again, and then you get 1 possession to go down the field. So I totally agree. He's a fucking idiot. I don't know what he's doing out there. I bet on the Raiders because they're at home. Everybody put money on the Steelers, but I'm a jackass, so I'm also pissed about that.
Rightfully so. I would be. You should never put your hard-earned money on a guy like Daniels ever again. Lesson learned.
And they need Chandler Jones back really bad, because Max Crosby is just getting double-teamed, and that defense has no other playmaker on the team.
Very true, but he's also got to get back to better mental health. That's another topic. We're gonna go segment into our next segment, rather, and we're gonna go to a famous segment that we made famous last year, and it's a little tip of the old lid right there: cap or no cap, where we debate NFL topics and we decide, is it a lie or is it not a lie, or as the kids like to say, cap or no cap. So
cap.
Let's kick things off. And I want to kick things off with the game from last night, Monday night game. The Cincinnati Bengals quarterback, Joe Burrow, was questionable leading all the way up to the final hour of the game. And he comes in and he got off to a sluggish start, but Zach Taylor was like, yeah, I don't care if you're injured. You're throwing the ball 40 times. And it got them the win. Most of the credit goes to the defense, of course, for that ferocious performance they had on the defensive line, putting Stafford under all kinds of pressure. But with that performance last night, from what you saw, cap or no cap, the Bengals are still one of the 7 best teams in the AFC, aka a playoff team.
Yeah, no, I mean, no cap. I still think they are. Like, no, there's no cap. So last year they were in the same situation. I think they started off like, I'm pretty sure it was like 3-5, and then they turned it around, made it to the AFC Championship. It's basically the same team, right? Defense is switched up. They've lost a lot of key players, but they still have the same defensive line. Um, they still have like one of the best potential offenses too. New O line. So yeah, no cap. I still think they're the best 7 best teams in the. I'm going to say the AFC.
Chuck, the Bengals were my Super Bowl pick in the preseason, so it would be almost foolish of me to go cap on this, but I will, because I'm
Really?
extremely worried that Joe Burrow isn't healthy, and now he's not giving himself any time to rest, and he's just going to not be himself the entire season, and that's going to shorthand the offense. And I don't necessarily know if the D line will have a better game than they did yesterday, or if they'll like the whatever the Rams were
True,
like.
against the shitty O line.
It was atrocious. It was atrocious. Stafford was panicking the entire time. Nothing really benefited him. But
True.
The way I look at it right now, I think all 3 other AFC North teams are better than them right now. And it's extremely hard to make the playoffs when you're the 4th team in your division, and then you got the Bills and the Dolphins in your conference as well, who are definitely playoff teams. So I'm going cap on that.
Now, I'm just going to add their next 3 games. So they play the Titans. I'm expecting them to win. Then they play the Cardinals, obviously expecting them to win. Seahawks at home, maybe a dicey game. And then it really gets tough. They go 49ers, Bills. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, must-win games coming up for them.
That ass. Now, I've got one for you. So talking about the AFC, let's keep it in the AFC. We're looking at the AFC West right now. 2 teams have not gotten a win. One team is 1-2. Another team is 1-2. Is the AFC West the worst division in football? Cap or no cap? Shoot.
The Chiefs truly hold up that division, like big time.
Yeah.
So just having the Chiefs in there, I think makes them. I'm going to say cap that they're the worst division in football. It's a tough call because there's a lot of like mediocre divisions and a couple extremely good divisions.
Yeah.
If I had to choose a worst right now, I would probably go with the AFC South because I thought they were weak in the first place, and now the Jaguars don't look too great. But I think some of those young teams are looking better. So the AFC West isn't far off, though. But I do think the Chargers have underperformed and that they will bounce back and they'll make a playoff push. So the Chargers and Chiefs are doing some heavy lifting in that division.
Okay. I see. We'll see what happens with the Broncos and Raiders. Hopefully they don't go 0-4.
Yeah, they I believe the Raiders actually beat the Broncos in week 1.
Oh, that's right. Hopefully, all right. Hopefully, they don't. We're 1-3, and then the Broncos go 0-4.
It's the only reason the Raiders have a win.
Yeah,
Funny enough.
seriously.
I want to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. Through 3 games, they have a positive point differential in the first half. They've had a lead in every game. Every game has been within single digits. In fact, within 3 points every game. This is a team that we thought was the tanking and was going to go 0-17 possibly. Now I want to ask you, cap or no cap, the Cardinals can compete with any team in the NFC. Compete.
I'm gonna say that's cap. I'm gonna say that's cap. I like right now. I'm gonna say it's cap because they're still missing their quarterback that they signed for fucking how much millions of dollars, Kyler Murray. Joshua Dobbs is showing out. I don't think the Cardinals have played, besides the Cowboys. I don't think the Cardinals have played anybody who's that dominant yet. So once we see the schedule come along, maybe they can compete. But still think they're on the same plan as to let's lose some games, but make it look like we're winning. Example, the Giants game, because I don't know how you go from going up 3 scores and then losing that game, and then the next week you're like, fuck, we got to play the Cowboys. How are we gonna do that? And then they just dominate the entire game defensively. Don't let up really, and that like one touchdown on defense. So yeah, I mean, I still think it's Cap though. I think the Cowboys just had a shit game, and they're not coached that well. I don't think Cowboys are not coached that well.
Yeah, and I think the Cardinals just something about playing the Cowboys. I think gets teams off their ass and makes them play their best game.
Yeah,
The Cardinals personally, I feel like they just lack a lot of talent, but Jonathan Gannon is doing an incredible job.
he's a really good coach.
He's a really good coach, and that pass rush is a very good unit. It's a very good unit. So we'll have to watch out for that going throughout the season.
Do you remember that video of Gannon?
Which one?
He's like, shots. This is why we got you. Shots. Pew 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 pew. Explosions.
I'm gonna have to.
Guy's a beast.
I'm gonna have to look that up, but like he seems like a funny guy.
I'll send it to you. Now, we'll keep it in the NFC. So actually, no. I like the AFC right now. The AFC is hot. The NFC is kind of boring. So my question for you: Dolphins just put up 70 against a Broncos team that was had lost some guys on defense before that game, and then I think lost a guy in the middle of the game, Justin Simmons. But they hung up 70. They look really good. And they put up 70 without Waddle. That guy A-Chan, it's not A-Chain. He said on Twitter to pronounce his name A-Chan.
Put some respect on his name.
Yeah, exactly. So A-Chan and Mostert. Like, who would have thought these two guys are just running over the NFL right now in the first 3 weeks? Tua, though, I think is the MVP of that offense, and he's running it so well with Mike McDaniels. Now, my question to you, Tua. Now, should Tua sign an extension deal ASAP? Cap or no cap?
For Tua's sake, no cap. For the Dolphins' sake, cap. Because,
I agree.
Well, right now Tua is playing like the league MVP, not just the MVP of the offense. He's the league MVP.
Yeah.
His knock. I mean, before the season, I didn't really have a lot of doubt that the Dolphins could be great this year. The question became, can Tua stay healthy? He had that hip injury in college, and now he's had a concussion problem. He's held up very nicely so far, but we're still 3 games into the season. So that's why, for the Dolphins' sake, it's still best that they wait to see what happens. Can he last the whole season? He hasn't proved it yet. But, of course, Tua should go get his bag, just like any other player should go get their bag. But he fully deserves it. With the speed on this offense, he makes all the right throws. He puts his players in position to win the game. What more can you ask for?
Truth. And Tyreek looks like an animal.
He's an absolute animal. They're going to be so much fun to watch. And I hope Kevin Harlan calls all their games because
me too. Yeah,
fun to listen to.
He's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So for my last one, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the disaster that is the New York Jets right now, who, for some reason, they're hanging on to Zach Wilson. They're basically saying, well, we'd rather let the season die than put someone else in at quarterback. So my question to you is, cap or no cap? Robert Saleh is being forced to start with Zach Wilson by ownership.
I like this question. I'm going to go with no cap. I think no cap. That's truer than truth. There's no way, as a head coach, that you put a guy out there who's not even like making like trying to make plays. It's just like, oh, nothing's there, throw it away. Like not even using his feet to maybe like get a couple extra yards. Um, I mean, and I know he played against the Cowboys, and I mean the Patriots. Like Bill Belichick is a defensive mastermind. Maybe I give him like a couple excuses there, but watching that game this past Sunday, it's like he didn't even like make plays or like try to even throw it downfield, or like at that point you tell him, why don't you just try and like throw a pick? Maybe we can get something going. Like maybe throw it downfield to Wilson or just some type of play. So they're definitely just trying to. I think they're trying to like see how really bad Wilson is, and they're just trying to give. I think they give him like 3 more games. I don't think if it's like Chiefs are up 20-0 in the Jet game, I don't think he gets pulled, and I don't think he gets pulled next week either. But 3 weeks from now, I don't think he starts because there's definitely I like that. There's definitely something going on in the organization. You don't keep a guy out there for this long and he's not making any plays whatsoever. Like not even like a 20-yard scramble or anything. Like I don't know. He looks like he's seeing ghosts out there. It sucks, and he's a talented player, but he's not an NFL quarterback.
Chuck, think of the difference between two different organizations. So in the same exact draft, Zach Wilson went number 2, Trey Lance went number 3. Wilson has shown absolutely no reason why he should be a starting quarterback in the NFL so far in his career. But the Jets continue to hang on to him because of the heavy investment that they made. And, they had some sort of long-term plan for him to be a quarterback after Rodgers. But the kid has confidence issues, and, of course, his offensive line is bad. But according to this statistic that I found, which I don't know where to get these statistics from, but he's apparently also the worst quarterback in the NFL when having a clean pocket.
Yeah,
so
I don't get it.
Absurd. But I bring up the 49ers with Trey Lance because they knew, obviously they had a Brock Purdy to go with, but instead of keeping Trey Lance as the backup, they straight up just traded him and got value for him and just said sunk cost. And the Jets didn't even have to move up. The 49ers gave up all that draft capital to move up to get Lance. So they honestly put more investment into that quarterback. Yeah. But they identified when he just wasn't it, and they moved on. Why can't the Jets do that? Why can't they bring in anybody else? Anybody else, not Trevor Siemian. Somebody who can challenge Wilson. Like, literally, like, I know Carson Wentz, he's a meme at this point, but the guy is an overconfident bastard, and Zach Wilson is an underconfident bastard. Like, how would that not be a great fit? Contrast the two. They could form their own little competition, see who rises up the top as an alpha. But
I don't understand. I bring it back to honestly Sam Darnold and what the Jets did to him. I think they're holding on to Zach more because they don't want to make the same mistake they did with Sam Darnold. But as fans and as I'm not even a Jet fan, but if I was a Jet fan, I'd be like, just go with a different guy, somebody else. Like you could have picked up Gardner Minshew. You could have got Joshua Dobbs. The fucking Cardinals got him for a sack of fucking potatoes. So if I'm a Jet fan, I'm pissed right now. And you can't even they can't even run the ball. So how are you going to throw it if you got a guy who doesn't want to throw it, who's scared to make a mistake?
Yeah, how are they going to run the ball when the defense, that's all they're scared of? So that's a mess right now. Messy situation. All right, Chuck, you hit me with one more cap or no cap.
Okay, last one. We just saw a fucking beatdown by the Texans against the Jaguars. And I know that like the Texans always beat the Jags at like their place historically, but we just saw the Colts beat the Ravens, and I know the Ravens had a bunch of injuries, but Lamar Jackson was still starting at quarterback. And on the Jags team, Trevor Lawrence is still starting at quarterback. CJ Stroud went off and absolutely kicked their ass. And with these teams that we expect to be shitty in that division, could we see a shift in AFC South champion? So My question is, cap or no cap? The AFC South is up for grabs,
Oh, absolutely. No cap on that. The Colts have looked very impressive so far.
right?
It's they're not fluky win. I mean, their defensive line is really good. Linebackers are solid. Uh, when Anthony Richardson comes back, I mean, he's such a good athlete. He just needs to
Beast.
stop getting hurt, which I don't know if that is even possible, honestly. But he's been incredible when he's played. And then looking at the other teams, well, the Titans, the offensive line looks awful, but the coaching is still there. The Titans, I describe them as a well coached team with personnel issues. So they'll still win some games. And the Houston Texans, I didn't think they're all that bad this year. I didn't think that they'd be bad as previous years, but I thought it was because their defense would step up. It's been the offense. CJ Stroud has looked like the best quarterback in the class so far.
He's
He's making
balling.
all the right plays. Tank Dell looks like a really good receiver. Uh,
Yes.
and Will Anderson has played really well. He's stepped
Blocked
into his
the
role
field goal.
quite nicely. And not to mention, the Texans have no incentive to tank. They have no first round pick. So I expect this to be an interesting competition, but I still think the Jaguars should be the favorite, though.
Truth. We'll see how it goes in London.
Yes, sir. And we will get to that London game as well as some other games. But, Chuck, you are the college football mastermind. So let's see what you got for this week with your college football picks.
So this weekend, I went 4-1. I'm pretty sure. So we're hot right now. I'm gonna give out two picks right now. It's going to be the first one's going to be I think it's LSU plays Old Miss, and I got LSU -3, and then the next pick we're just going to do two this weekend because I really don't like this slate. So actually LSU -2.5, and then I want Nebraska at home against Michigan +17.5. I think they play a close game against Michigan. At least they only lose by 10 if it gets dicey. But I'm looking for Nebraska to bounce back after a couple of weeks of getting shit on.
Dude, it's Nebraska. I don't know. Nebraska has just been they haven't had any success as a football program in so long. So I I just don't know about that. But I mean, I'm not gonna root for Michigan, so
No, definitely
I'm
not.
I'm with you on that. Um, yeah, I have no college football picks, so we will get right into the NFL, where we'll break down three premier games, and we'll start with the London game, with two teams coming off some very disappointing losses. The Falcons put up only 6 points on the road versus the Lions, and for some reason abandoned their run game, which you have to think they'll go back to it this week. And then they play the Jags, who looked very disappointing in their loss to the Texans. But like you said, Texans have owned them as of recent, but they're going to need to bounce back in a big way so they don't fall behind that division. Who do you got in that game?
So I'm gonna go with the Jags. The Jags need to win this game. I think. I think it's a statement game. Yes, I think both teams are traveling the same distance. I think the Jaguars may have been an hour later flight, but Jags played there last year. It was like October 22nd. I think it was week 10. Oh no, not week 10. It was like week 8. They lost to the Broncos, and the game went to the end. They lost by 4 on like I think a last second drive by the Broncos. So I think that's definitely coming to their minds. Like they want to go back there and win overseas. Um, and the Falcons really haven't played a lot of games overseas. And I'm not saying this is a factor, but there's a lot that goes into preparation of these games. And I think the Jaguars have the upper hand. So I'm going to go with the Jags.
I'm going to go with the Jags as well. The Falcons' biggest strength is their run game, as we all know. Jaguars are pretty decent against the run. And you have to think that Arthur Smith
Yeah,
is going to go back to his pedigree, running the ball.
has to.
Uh, but the Jaguars have to win this game because the things could slip for them pretty quick in the division. And I just think that the coaching mismatch here. I think Doug Peterson has, first of all, he's coached in London before last year, and I think he's got more experience to turn guys around after a disappointing game. Um, I do worry about the defense, but I just don't think the Falcons have the right kind of offense to exploit that defense. So I'm gonna go Jaguars, but I think it'll be a low scoring game.
Might take the under.
Yes, under would be a good pick. The under would be a good pick in this game too, which is to me the premier matchup of the weekend. The bona fide worst team in the NFL versus the other bona fide worst team in the NFL. That's right, the Denver Broncos and the Chicago Bears, both 0-3, both could not have gone off the worst starts this season. It is a marvel by the NFL schedulers to have this line up at this exact moment. The stoppable force versus the movable object. I'm so curious about what's going to happen in this game. So let's hear from you. What do you think is going to happen this game of the week?
I hope it's like high scoring. I hope we see a lot of explosive plays from each side of the offense. I hope we finally see Justin Fields use his athleticism. I think the only advantage that the Bears have on offense is Justin Fields' athleticism. As you said before, he's not making the right reads. We don't know what he's looking at. He holds onto the ball way too long, and he's blaming his offense. Just came off of a fucking 30. They're both these teams coming off of 31-point plus loss. So I know that you're probably thinking like, is he going to go with Justin Fields? Like, did the Bears get their first win? No, I'm going to go with fucking Danger Witch, Russell Wilson, Mr. Unlimited. He is going to ball the fuck up on offense. And I think he's going to throw for like 300 yards against his defense because his defense is abysmal, can't get to the quarterback, has no good defenders besides Eddie Jackson. So I think the Broncos actually like roll over the Bears and they win by like 10.
I'm going Broncos as well. And you kind of hit the nail on the head, but there's only one at least average unit on either side of the field for either of these teams. It's the Broncos offense, who Russell Wilson's looked better this season. He's airing it out more. He's got good connection with his receivers. It hasn't been his fault whatsoever. They're scoring above 16 points a game.
They're balling offense.
You can't blame them. But the Bears have done nothing right. They can't. Justin Fields can't see the field. They have no running game. The receivers suck. The offensive line sucks. They can't get pressure. They can't cover anybody. The list goes on.
Special teams sucks.
There is no redeeming quality about the Bears right now, and you can at least point to the angle of, well, the Broncos have some motivation after they got embarrassed the way that they did, like history-wide embarrassed.
Yeah, mollywop.
They're gonna want to rebound, whereas the Bears, it just seems like Justin Fields is like. He had some quote earlier this week where he was just like, well, sometimes you got to think like we're blessed to play this game. You got to take the criticism on the cheek. Like this soft ass shit. Like he doesn't sound pissed at all. He's losing. He almost sounds like it's just like, well, whatever. Our team sucks. I guess that's what it is. Yeah. The Bears are a disaster, train wreck. Lock it in. Broncos winning by double digits.
Yeah, I want the -3.5 too.
That's a sexy pick. Sexiest game of the week, though, is the Bills and the Dolphins. The Dolphins obviously could not be hotter right now, but the Bills have, that advantage over the Dolphins. They won that playoff game last year, albeit against Skylar Thompson. But motivation is definitely a factor for the Dolphins for losing that game. But the Bills are probably motivated too because Dolphins are the king of the NFL right now, and they want to dethrone them. But what is going to happen, Chuck?
So what I think is going to happen, now I was really torn about this. I was trying to look at the injury reports, see if like Waddle probably play, right? I think it was a concussion. So I think Waddle will be back. That guy is their edge rusher, is Dolphins edge rusher. Phillips going to be back. But I looked up how Josh Allen has been against the Dolphins, and at home he's undefeated. He's 6-0. Um, so I think the Bills are going to show out at home. They're going to show the entire NFL that Daddy's home and that Mike McDaniels is not the best, doesn't have the best squad, and that the Bills have the best squad. I think the Bills control the clock. They run all over the Dolphins. And I think the Bills' defensive backs match up well against the Dolphins' wide receivers. It's a matter of getting to the quarterback. So if they can get to Tua early and get sacks and get them to punt early, then they won't be putting up 70 points, obviously. They won't be putting up 30 points. So I'm expecting like a 28-24 Bills win.
Mm. It's a hard pick to make because you could really point to either angle. You got the Dolphins, who look like the most dominant team in the NFL, and they got revenge on their mind. But the Bills are eager to put away the best team in the NFL, and they've done it before. They're at home. But I'm going to give that slight edge to the Dolphins because they just simply look unstoppable right now. Tua is making all the right reads, and what it really comes down to for me is Mike McDaniel, who I also think he's the coach of the year candidate right now. Um, I feel like he's had this game circled on his calendar, and he wants to dial up ways to carve up this Bills defense in ways they haven't seen before because, well, they just recently played Skylar Thompson, and they barely got to see a lot of Tua in the other game because he was concussed for that one. I don't think this is a kind of game or a situation where the Dolphins look ahead because they already got a big win. I think they're well coached. They're firing on all cylinders right now, and the Bills might not be ready for what's about to hit them. I'm gonna go Dolphins.
Okay. I would definitely go for the over in that game too.
Yeah, it should.
I don't think
It
it's gonna
should.
be that defensive.
It should be a fun one. Now, let's lock in some locks. Chuck, what we cooking up for these locks this week?
So locks, we're 4-4. I'm 4-4 right now in locks. I got 3 right now. I'm going heavy favorites here. So 49ers play the Cardinals at home. Give me the minus 13.5. Cardinals, I think, come back to earth, and the 49ers are such a dominant team that, like, if the Giants can hang with them and only lose by 18, I think the 49ers can beat the Cardinals by 20. The Chiefs at Jets. The Swift, I think it's going to be Taylor Swift fans all across the nation are coming to that game. So I got the Chiefs minus 9.5. Zach Wilson still can't score fucking more than 15 points for his team. I think Chiefs absolutely roll over them, even though Jets have a prolific defense. And then my last pick, I don't know why this is so low. Maybe because the Titans are at home. You always give 3 points to the home team, but I feel like this is a lock. Bengals minus 2.5 at the Titans. So, and give me the Bengals. And those are my 3.
All right. For my picks, for my lock of the week, I'm gonna go not with a spread, but with an over under. And I've got the Raiders and the Chargers. I've got over 47.5 in this game. These two defenses have not been good so far this season. The Chargers are a surprising unit to not be good, but their premier pass rushers, Bosa and Mack, look like shells of their former selves, and their secondary is a mess. J.C. Jackson was a healthy scratch last week, and that was their prize acquisition. And then you got the Raiders on the other side, who just haven't had a good defense in years, and probably would have had a worse game if they weren't playing, Kenny Pickett. But when they played a good quarterback like Josh Allen, they got dominated. And I think both teams are just gonna air it out. Even with the loss of Mike Williams for the Chargers, the offenses will still go off. Herbert's playing amazing so far this year. I like this to go over 47.5.
I'm going to tail.
All right. And upsets.
So after seeing last week, and I'm big on McCarthy getting fired midway through the season. I think it was one of my bold predictions. I'm taking Patriots money line over the Cowboys. So we'll see what happens. I think Bill comes to Dallas, and I think he knows what he's doing.
That's not a bad pick. I mean, Dallas should be motivated to prove themselves after a loss, but Bill Belichick, he knows that he's got to get a win. And Mac Jones has looked better this year. I mean, the Jets defense is nothing to laugh at. But can they stop that? Can that O line, which has been decimated by injuries, stop that D line? That'll be the key to that game.
Also, I want to add the Patriots got. I'm pretty sure they got Will Greer or something. They're interrogating him about the Cowboys offense. And there's another player that's on the Patriots that was on the Cowboys. Oh, Zeke Elliott. And apparently, I was reading that both those players, Zeke and Will Greer, they know the Cowboys signs. So don't be surprised if this game ends in 3 points.
I wonder if NFL teams have done that before. They probably have. But I don't know how much a fourth string quarterback can really teach. If he couldn't do it himself. So we'll see about that. But it's not a bad pick. I'm gonna fade the Vikings again. They had all the luck go their way last year, and now all the luck is going the opposite way this year. And now they are 3.5-point favorites on the road against Carolina. Now, this is kind of contingent on Carolina getting some of its players back. They lost Frankie Louvu and Xavier Woods midway through that game. They didn't return. They're both questionable for this week. If they do play, which I think they will, then this Carolina defense is pretty underrated. And they were doing a good job against Geno Smith, holding them to just field goals before the injuries happened. The wheels came off. But the Vikings are just kind of a train wreck right now. And I don't necessarily trust it that they're going to be able to put away a quote-unquote inferior team. Not to mention Adam Thielen, revenge game.
I like it. Is Dalton starting?
I actually like the Panthers more if Dalton starts.
Yeah, that's why I like that. I think I'm going to run that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it should be another good week of football.
I'm pumped.
Yes, so thank you guys for tuning in once again. If you love the show, which you should, I don't know why you wouldn't, you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit that like button, follow us on Spotify if you want to listen to us in the car, because who wouldn't want to hear our voices everywhere that you go. But any departing words for us, Chuck?
Let's have a fucking winning weekend. Let's get it.
Let's ready. Win. Just like Al Davis said, just win, baby.
Just win, baby. Hell yeah.
All right.
Shout out Raiders.
All right, guys. I'm Shoop.
I'm Chuck.
And we're signing out.
See you guys. See ya.